And welcome back to our segment of the day, or our discussion of the day, and State of the Union address addressed by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. We will have this sneak peek on the President's address to the Congress. What plans does he have for the United States, for the Middle East, for Egypt? We will be analyzing together his speech, words by word, and what can or how can we read in the in-between lines of his speech. We have with us to discuss this issue Mr. Ahmed Salah, author, translator, and linguistic informatic expert. And thank you very much for being with us.
Nice to see you.
We've just seen a few days ago the U.S. new President-elect speech before the two rooms of the Congress. And much of his plans were really said during this speech or during his address to the Congress. Some of them were written, others were not. But yes, he was able really to deliver some of the plans. How did you read his speech before the Congress?
First of all, the Republicans were so much worried because they didn't know how far the new president would be sticking to the plans of the Republicans. But to their surprise, Donald Trump delivered one of his best speeches since he entered politics in the year 2015. He was very much focused, and for the first time he uses some long sentences, because he used to speak in fragments, very short sentences, just 2 or 3 syllables long. But in this speech, he was very much focused, to the point, to the extent that the other side, the Democrats, were so much upset. Actually, Donald Trump, in this speech, was again stressing a very important thing, which is America first. Again, in his inauguration speech address, he said America first twice. So he would be focusing on what concerns America, and he said America will not be the policeman of the world anymore.
If we take the from what you said to the in-between lines of what he said, and one of the very important challenges the new U.S. elect face is how to unite the Americans themselves. Because when we have seen his election, we have seen a kind of division among Americans, to accept him, to refuse him, his ideas, his plans. I mean, the health care of Obama, for an instant, he scrapped it at once. He started with announcing that some of the treaties, the international treaties, would be reconsidered, even reconsidering the relations with big entities and organizations as the NATO, for an instant, the NATO, which was founded by the United States. Many of those issues, even inside the Congress, as you respectively here said, there was two kind of people or two segments hearing him, the Republicans and the Democrats. When he spoke during his oath, he said that it would be his mission to be the president of all Americans.
Yes.
How was that emphasized from your point of view in this speech?
Okay. Focusing again on the speech, Trump was very emotional. He was speaking in a way that appeals so much to the majority of people. And this may be a technique he follows in order to make what you've just said, to unite all the Americans under his leadership. Because the way he talks is not actually intellectual. He is not telling so much ideas or creative approaches even to problems. He's just focusing on emotional overflow of feelings recollected in certain words to make the effect on people. And this is very much close to the technique of the salesman. The salesman is focusing on certain words to make a resonance in your ears in order to influence your decision to buy. So he's trying to be witty. I cannot say smart. He's trying to be witty in order to influence people, to unite. And the word America First is a highly emotional phrase that will have a very strong influence on people and make them follow Trump.
That is speaking to the Americans who are still divided even after hearing him. What about his messages that were given on his plans outside? And outside, of course, we're speaking about different countries and different attitude. For an instant, Europe. For an instant, China. For an instant, Iran. For an instant, the Middle East. But we'll come to the Middle East and Egypt later.
Okay, first of all, in his speech, he condemns the threats against the Jewish community.
Definitely, that
was, yes, that was one of the important points in his address. Second thing, he honors the death of the Navy SEAL who died in Yemen. He speaks also of the...
And he even praised military operations
yes,
there.
Yes. He mentioned the issue he talked about before, which is eradicating the Muslim terrorism. And at the same time...
The so-called Islamic, the so-called.
Yes.
Yes.
Islamic terrorism. So, but in the same time, he said that America will no more be playing the role of the policeman, which was considered by analysts and linguistically considered to be contradiction. How could you eradicate Islamic terrorism and at the same time resent from playing the role of the policeman? Okay. Another thing, internally he said he would be trying to eradicate poverty, but at the same time he's working to end some programs that support poverty. Besides, some of his words reflect certain things about his character, because we cannot separate the real person in front of you, in front of us, we're speaking, from his personal history. And his style, use of words, the way he speaks, the way his presentation reflect this character built throughout his personal history. The use of some words and his body language, the way he uses punchy words at the end of every sentence he utters, reflects some sort of antisocial trait in his character. And he is so much aggressive when he addresses the things that he opposes. sometimes he does not fully explain why he took this or that stand. This is very apparent in his use of words. Another thing that he got some kind of self-conceit. He's a very successful businessman.
Definitely.
And he got a history of success globally. So with this spirit, he started his position as the American president. But actually, I don't know whether he could do what he's promising to do, because there's no detailed description of how would he do or apply the plan he's telling us about.
Exactly. And this is a very important issue, that he never did speak of the details of his plan. He say what he doesn't like that, he doesn't see that useful enough, he doesn't see the American relations with the NATO or the NATO is fulfilling what people aspired for. He doesn't see that treaties of trade treaties are getting to what America wanted. I mean, yes, but he does not say exactly what he intends to do with that.
Of course, of course.
He never really elaborate on how he will tackle an aspect, and that is very much important to us in the Middle East. For an instant, as you said, he said before that he will not, during, of course, his campaign, he said that he will really take all attention towards what is going on inside the United States, and not interfering in the domestic affairs of others. But here we see him during his speech praising, of course, condemning the killing of one of the SEAL who are in operation missions in Yemen, but also praising those operations in Yemen. What does this mean? I mean, and then he is speaking about not interfering in the domestic affairs of the Middle East, and then we are speaking about how he will manage the situation in Syria and Libya, for an instant, and he is speaking of eradicating terrorism, and I really would not say Islamic terrorism, because I hate that word. There is nothing between Islam and terrorism that links them in any way. But yes, exactly, that is the issue. How is that? How can you predict
There is a very important point. Trump has influencers backing him. There are two very crucial characters that play a really important part in his life as a president. Stephen Bannon, he's the chief strategist of Trump, and his elder daughter, Ivanka. Stephen Bannon is extremely nationalistic, and his daughter is pushing him towards taking action to paid family leave and taking care of education. These two persons play a very important part in his life.
Even in the foreign policy, in his foreign policy?
I think so. But his main focus now is inside America. What his speech signifies, as we've just said, he's talking in scraps. He doesn't express a full idea. Even his use of short sentences reflect that he is intellectually not absorbed by the ideas he's talking about.
So that takes me to a very much anticipated visit by President Sisi during this month to the United States. And you know, relations between the US and Egypt has seen sometimes downs and ups, and we have seen throughout the decades different turnings to the relation.
Which is
yes. So
okay,
today, with a new elect president, and President Fattah al-Sisi is or will be visiting the new president. We have seen him in several occasions appreciating the role of Egypt, appreciating President Sisi, appreciating how Egypt can play a real pivotal role in this upcoming. Do you think that President Trump is ready to hear from the president the realities on the ground? He is that personality.
Again, through his speech, I can guess, yes, he's open to talks with Egypt, because, as I've just said, that his personal history is the history of a businessman who is a salesman, first and foremost. And the business people do not close doors. They keep doors open, because business has no religion. Business doesn't confine itself to nationalistic approaches or anything that prevents profit or stands against making profits. So I think Trump would be pragmatic. He got the pragmatic part of his character, and he would be open to talks with Egypt and with everybody in the world, but again, pragmatically based. The talks would be pragmatically based. What you would give me and what I gave you in return. And he will be focusing on the benefit of the American
benefits. From the first till the beginning, all of them did so.
Yes.
Yes, anyway, Mr. Ahmed Salah, author, translator, and linguistic informatic expert, we thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I guess that brings us to the end of this episode, and that was the whole interview. I guess until tomorrow with another topics, another sneak to Egypt's daily life. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye.